Every generation has a defining moment, a collective story. The greatest generation was defined through the hardships they endured, and their sacrifices made during the Great Depression and World War II. For the baby boomers, Vietnam and the culture war of the 60s were their defining moments. However, that generation shared a collective story of depravity, decadence, and hedonism. So what about the millennials? What defines us? Adolescence in perpetuity in an era of economic and cultural inflation? Petulance and a sense of entitlement in an age of abundance and relative peace? Darkness during a time of a morally foundationless society? Who are we? How did we get here? We were 90s kids, born in the 80s, raised by Saturday morning cartoons and fed stale, sugary cereal. The information age was upon us, however the vestiges of the old tradition of playing with friends outside still existed. It was a far cry from the turmoil and debauchery of the 60s and the economic crash and catastrophes of the 70s. The restorative 80s were ending as we were coming of age, giving way to a bright new era, the 1990s. It was an era that adorned a shimmering veneer of optimism, with a booming economy accredited to the new advancements in microprocessors. PSAs and preachy children television programs inculcated to its young audiences what is moral and what to avoid. The ever-mutable industries of fashion and media were evolving from boisterous lurid colors and rigid shapes into a more sleek and modern style. However, under that veneer, American families were decaying, bifurcating under our very noses, and us millennials were the subsequent collateral damage. For most millennials, both parents held full-time jobs, absent from our daily lives. As a result, our babysitters, our schools, and our televisions became de facto parents. Important life knowledge was not bequeathed to us by those who sired us, but instead we were exposed to pernicious propagandic messages through the media. We learned debauched life wisdom from our school teachers, and we suffered derision and violence from the empathy-depraved bullies at school. Divorce was prevalent. We learned to embrace that destructive family force. It was injected into the vein of pop culture, so much so that it was commonplace. No longer was it taboo. It was accepted. But that shouldn't come as a surprise, considering our parents' upbringing. Products of hippie baby boomers, our parents were raised on spoonfuls of feminism, hearty servings of hedonism, and a healthy bowl of corporal punishment, all the family-eroding depravities that were passed down to us. Just like all children, our parents looked to theirs for stability, empathy, and the knowledge to build a moral foundation. However, they were bereft of those qualities, and so they went without, and they suffered. That healthy dose of dopamine children receive when parents display empathy and affection, that warm hug feeling, our parents were starved of these endorphins. So instead, they sought that warm hug from alternative places: drug, sex, thrill-seeking. So those are the people who raised us, and as a result, we suffered the same fate. This is our collective struggle. We were failed by the ineptitude of government schools, failed by our morally fragmented parents, failed by society who pressured us to attend university and accumulate crippling debt whilst not learning anything of value to be successful in the market. We as millennials are like nomads. Nomads in the jungle of this competitive and labor-inflated market. We are peripatetic, low-skilled laborers who are socially inept and who suffer from depression because we are not armed with the correct tools to be competent adults. So thanks to the baby boomers and Generation X, we are a lost generation, and I don't think we will ever find our way.